Hello there. How are you guys doing? Big D coming at you, 505 Summer Lounge, aka actually feels like a summer lounge today. Glad to see you. Got a great show planned for y'all tonight. But we got to pay some bills before we get this show started. So, as a reminder, pinned in the comments section and in the description, I've got click on that link tree. That'll take you to all my advertiser sponsors and preferred retail partners out there. So whether you're looking to buy cigars, whether you're looking for accessories, I got you covered. Use the exclusive promo codes that are only available to my viewers out there, and that will save you some coinage. I know. That's what I'm all about here. I'm all about saving you coinage. So, get yourself a brand new lighter, a cutter, go buy yourself some sticks. That's just how it goes. So, without further ado, we'll bring on our guest tonight. Our guest, he's a real life chef. He's, took his passion for the leaf, and his passion for cooking, was able to blend it together to produce a banging stick. If you watch the Raw Cigar reviews with Brandy and I, last month we had her on. We had him on with us, and we loved the stick. Well, now I brought him back to kind of give you guys a one-on-one about what we are a one-on-one, so you get to better understand the man behind the brand and himself. And so without further ado, bring him on. We've got Jayson Broadbent from Rebel Chef Cigars. And sir, welcome.
Hello, thank you very much. I appreciate you having me back.
Glad to have you. So let the people out there who may not be familiar with you get a little familiar with you and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a professional chef, which is one of the reasons why the company is called Rebel Chef Cigars, and I'm the Rebel Chef Jay. Been cooking professionally for about 28 years. I'm married. I've got 4 kids, 3 of which are adults. I owned a couple of meal prep companies before going and becoming a private chef. Cigars was honestly, it started because I like to describe the flavor profiles of cigars when I try them in terms of food. So I describe them like rather than just cocoa or coffee or mocha or whatever, I would always say something like a champurrado or something a little more detailed. And a couple of my good friends were like, man, you've got a real passion for this, and you're always talking about cigars, and you're always watching podcasts, and you're always smoking, and you're just trying everything under the sun. You should start a cigar company. And something about, I don't know if my friend's watching, Jose, if he's watching, he was the one that kind of pushed me and was like, you should really focus on creating something and combining your passion of food and the way you describe them with cigars. And I think part of that was because I used to tell them about the cigar and actual meal pairings I was doing. So it's a little bit different than, just pairing them with the bourbon. I was pairing them with my dinner at night, smoking and eating at the same time, learning how to kind of pair them based on the profile of cigars that I already knew and the food that I was making or that was being made for me. And so when I created this line, it was actually with that concept in mind, was to get cigars that had enough flavor to hold up against meals while at the same time giving people, something different to do. A herf is great. People talk about everything under the sun and cigars, and a lot of times they're bourbon or they're scotch. But Thanksgiving, we come together over food. And my idea was if you could combine the two, where you've got the herf concept of people talking about cigars and getting together and relaxing, but you combine food, which is already something that people want to, generates conversations and you're talking about more. When you combine the two, it just takes those herfs into just different levels than they've ever been. And it's really, really a fun experience and just add something different to your regular routine.
That makes total sense with that. out there. So a little bit here about your blends. Like to talk about here.
Well, each one of them, I wanted to create something. First, I was going to just do, I think, what a lot of people do in their heads, and they're just going to make one cigar. And of course, as you're making it, and it's going to be your cigar, you want to make it to fit your personal likes, like what you like the most in a cigar. Well, I thought about that initially, and then I thought to myself, well, I like a really, really bold, really, really strong cigar straight out the gate, 4:30 in the morning, no food in the gut, but not a lot of people don't. So I was like, well, maybe what I should do is I should try to create 3 cigars, all a little bit different, and to make them different enough that you could kind of target a larger audience. And you could at least, if someone were to try all 3, they're going to find one that's their favorite and hopefully become repeats and, supporters of your brand and of that cigar. So that was really the reason why there's 3. The one you're smoking and that I'm smoking is the Lechon, which is, if you're Cuban or Puerto Rican, and my mother's Puerto Rican, you'll know that that's a sweet and savory, crispy pork, slow roasted, crispy whole pig. And for me, this cigar, the idea behind both the wrapper and the flavor is that it's got some sweetness, some creaminess, but it's also got a lot of flavor. So although it's low on the nicotine and it's not a killer, it's my most mild cigar, it's got a lot going on in the body. It looks beautiful, it smokes amazingly, and it's that sweet and savory. So that's the El Lechon for us.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it lingers a little bit everywhere without having tons of nicotine in it. So it stays in your nose for a couple breaths. It stays on your tongue, and it actually coats the sides and the back of your tongue. It's not just the front. It's not just the top. It's pretty amazing. It's funny. I've got people that are just super loyal to this cigar, buy them by the box, and then the Catalia you smoked last month, I've got people who smoke that one by the box, and then you haven't smoked the Dawn yet that I know of, but I've got people, it worked out well for me because they're all different enough that they've got people who really, really love them.
Such a interesting dynamic on that flavor profile on this stick. It was not, I gotta say, it's not what I expected the cigar to taste like. I had an idea in my head based upon the name of the cigar, what I was anticipating. And right off the bat, the first few puffs, the retro, not what I expected, but it is delicious.
Thank you. Good. Yeah, I think that's how all my cigars are, right? I think people have a lower expectation because it's so new and small, which to me is fantastic because it increases the wow factor for the person the first time you smoke it. Like your reaction is honestly what I strive for, but what I do believe 90% of the people that smoke that cigar, they're like, wow, it's not just a pretty face. There's a lot happening.
There's so much going on with the flavors. And I gotta say, the deepest flavors I'm picking up are in just the far back of my palate. It's just smacking back there.
Yeah, it lingers. It's great, but it's not a strong cigar. That's what I love about it, is that it's got a lot in the body, but it's not just killing you. Not killing you.
No, the sweetness, the spice ratio on this is very good. That leatheriness, that meatiness is delicious. Yeah. Slight creaminess that kind of hits, but I'm assuming as this warms up and it gets deeper, that creaminess is going to come out more than where we're at now. But yeah, definitely, like you said, like that smoked or roasted pig, definitely kind of getting that chicharron type feel to it.
Yeah, that's the idea. Is just that sweet and savory. That it's like got something that you can feel and hold on to, like the skin. But then in the inside, it's smooth. It really, the funny thing about this cigar, right? So that when we first created this, it was just a standard barber pole. And I really liked it, and I kind of locked it down and was like, this is going to be the cigar. And then we launched. We launched with the barber pole, and I started talking to some of my friends and the guy that I've got, Marlon, that I have my blender. And I was like, I think we should try something different. The transitions are a bit too far apart. I wanted it to be smoother and more seamless. So I'd already talked about this wrapper a while, and I was like, it's a beautiful, beautiful wrapper. Let's see that. Send me some samples. Let's see what we think of that. And it looks incredible, but the reality is, because of the intricate woven, the close of the proximity of the wrappers, they're much more seamless, much smoother. The cigar is very, very smooth, which is one of the things I'm most proud of, is the smoothness of this.
Yeah, this is very good. Very good. Yeah, I like it. So on to the next one here, the Catalia.
So the Catalia is my boldest offering. It's also not a big nicotine killer, but it's definitely a Maduro. It's the Mexican San Andreas wrapper. We've got the Jalapa and Condeja and Pueblo Nuevo fillers in there. It's all Nicaraguan on the inside. It's just that Mexican on the outside. All of these cigars, before I even start contemplating selling them, after they've been rolled and banded, we let them sit a minimum of 140 days. Then I usually ship them up here, if not before, and let them sit for another 2-3 weeks. So they've all got some age. They've all settled a bit before I even make them, an offering to the market. But that one is named by my partner in the business, who's Mexican. He chose the name. We did the flag in the Mexican flag colors. It's got a Mexican San Andreas wrapper. We blended that for him. It is his favorite for the obvious reasons. We created it, something for him. And that one has got a very, very loyal following. People are just not really expecting it to be so smooth, so bold, and so complex. The complexity of that cigar is unlike, I would say, 80% of the Maduros. I don't think most Maduros have the transitions and the profile that does.
That's right. And anybody watching in the chat, I did post the link over to my Rumble page for the Raw Cigar reviews, which Brandy and I did live review this stick, so you can check it out and see what we thought about it. I can tell you we liked it, but you can get more in depth with that review if you want to click on that, and that's down in the description. I pinned that down there.
So yeah, that's a fun one. The good friend of mine who helped me come up with the bands and did the designing for the bands, his favorite is the Catalia. He owns a small, beautiful lounge down in Lubbock, Texas. They carry my line. They just cleared out, it's been an amazing event, and the Catalia just has some super loyal followers.
Yeah,
and then my last one is the Don Cecilio, which is the Puerto Rican flag. It's named after my grandfather, Cecilio. It was kind of something that I wanted to, I created to pair with my wife's arroz con pollo. She's Mexican, and of course I've got my mother's Puerto Rican, so we've got kind of a family combined recipe of something she grew up on and something I did. I wanted this cigar to be something that's a tribute to my grandfather, just hard work, dedication, taking the time to relax and enjoy your family. It's very symbolic to me, and that it would be the cigar that I would pair with my wife's arroz con pollo, which has gandules in it, and a michelada, which is kind of like one of my ultimate comfort foods. The box press idea was second. We had to do some adjustments. I have a really good friend, not sure if he's watching, but T Ross. He's in in just outside of Atlanta. He's in Georgia, and he's a box press lover. This guy, every time someone, posts a box press, he popped up. And I thought, hey, what's one more way to differentiate my 3 cigars from each other? Let's kind of go back, because, you got to remove some of the filler. You got to make some adjustments when you do a box press, because you can't have that same amount of tobacco. So we went back to the drawing board. We made the tweaks. By the time I got it, the draw is so amazing on that thing. The spice on that one is just, man, that thing hits on all cylinders for me personally. Of course, my favorite. And it's one of those ones that without realizing you're at the nub. It's like, I don't know what the time frame is. I don't know if it's just smoking fast, but it's one that's always at the end before you're ready for it to end.
Oh my goodness. This is so delicious. I can't hold it back anymore on that cigar. And I'm like, I'm not even halfway through that first third on that cigar, and I'm already drooling.
I prefer. Love when the drool bucket comes out.
Yeah, I'm not even halfway through that first third, and I can't. I'm already feeling the slobber. I notice if I keep talking, I'm going to be slobbering all over myself.
Yeah, it's good news.
Yeah, this is so good. The depth. Now, I said this when we reviewed the Catalia. There's so much going on in that cigar that, it's very complex. It's very in-depth. The flavors, there's so much going on that, I had to decide where I was going to go with how I wanted to set up my flavors, because it was just like, there's too much. And so what really am I getting? And I'm getting to the same thing with this. This is a very in-depth, detailed cigar with its flavor profile, but it's so good. It's so smooth. Smooth on it. That retro surprises me on this. I gotta say, I'm surprised. Not what I expected.
How much there is, like how much happens in that retro, that it's not just kind of blank. Yeah, that was important with all of my cigars. I mean, one being food guy, but something that just I think a lot of people can relate to. You get a cigar, you're waiting all day for the cigar, you're planning it, you go and you start smoking it, and it starts off strong, and I won't name, I've got some that pop into my head instantly, but then just stay right there. They don't go anywhere else. They're just single shot, the same strength, same flavor, no transitions. I need to have a cigar with transitions. That's an important thing for me. So that's all 3 of these I feel like developed and change, and, they transition. And I think that's what makes them such pleasurable smoking, along with that great draw, and they all have great smoke output.
I agree. And that's something, one of the brands that I do some work for, the owner said he had to have a cigar that constantly was moving around and transitioning. And that had nothing to do with anything other than he's like, I got an ADD, and I get bored super easy. So I had to design a cigar that was constantly moving like I am.
Yep.
And I agree with that. And I do enjoy those types of cigars far more than just kind of the level flat or the slow build, when there's always something. But there's so much depth of flavor in your cigars that whether it stayed the same, it's the flavor stayed the same. There's so much going on there that it's almost as if there's multiple transitions. Now,
Right.
For somebody like you who's a chef and somebody who has a sophisticated palate, they'll pick up on the fact that it's linear. But for the average smoker out there, there's so much going on that they're not going to be able to differentiate between it staying linear and there's just this going on.
Yeah,
so
right.
I think you could have gone either way on that.
Well, and I think the thing about this one was, it was my mild one. This is like if someone's new to cigars, or if someone's, doesn't want a whole lot of power or something that, they got to have a full belly with. This was the cigar. And I think it hits on so many levels that, they tell you in culinary school that digestion starts at the moment your eyes hit the food. So if it looks good, you start salivating, the digestive process begins, your nose is hinted in, right? So that was my concept of this cigar, introducing you to the meal. You look at it, you're already like, wow, I can't wait to smoke this. It looks incredible. Then you light it, even the cold draw, it's got some fruity in it that disappears when you light it. So it's already starting out, it gives you a little dip, a little jive. Then you do that first draw and that retro, and you're like, all right, now I got to see what's next.
My mouth. I've noticed something as I got to the end of this first third, is that that my mouth is staying super wet and moist, but the smoke is coming out a drier smoke, and it's not drying my palate out.
Yeah, it feels dry across your tongue, but then you could spit after.
Yes, exactly. That's just something that I've noticed the last few puffs on here, is that smoke got dry on me. But yes, I mean, yeah, there's so much going on. And I noticed that with the Catalia, that I was trying to decipher where I was at on the cigar, because there was so much. It's like, well, this, and we talked about it. I got to the point where I got lost on the flavors, because there was so much going on. And I'm finding myself getting to this point on this stick too, is that I'm starting to get lost. And that's not, I say that not as a bad thing. It's just there's so much going on, and I'm such a tobacco nerd that I want to figure it all out.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. That's the idea, and this is the good cigar. Like once you're working on your palate and you've come a ways. This is a great cigar. And, well, they all are for like your evening cigar. Like for breakfast, this is a great cigar, but it is complex. So if you want to try to decipher that, usually for breakfast, people are in more of a hurry. So I go for a more simple cigar. This is the one that's like the end of the day. I want to get in the experience. I want to really dive deep. This is a cigar that pairs well with even like a chicken Alfredo. This is one that can go with a lighter dish. This is a chicken cigar. This is a fish cigar. You know what I mean? Like that's what this cigar is. Goes great with those meals that are a little lighter, with the white wine, with the brandy, goes great with rum. This is kind of that one. Ceviche. Woo. Stop.
Yeah, I could see this with ceviche easy on this stick. What's up, Kang? Good to see you, brother. Nice to see you. Kang is our buddy from Indonesia. He works on a tobacco farm out there.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I feel a total vibe with this cigar, and I felt it early on from really 2 or 3 puffs in.
That's great. Love it.
Now the Catalia I vibed with, but it took me a little longer to get to that point in this. I was enjoying it, and I was thoroughly enjoying it. But when the sweetness kicked in on all the levels, in the aroma, in the retro, and on the palate, that's when I started vibing with this stick. But it took about getting to that halfway point for that to kick in. This I vibed immediately, and the sweetness really wasn't there right off the bat. But no. It just that essence, that feel I was getting from the cigar.
Yeah, it's the smoothness, I think, which makes up for that, right? Like it's so smooth, and I mean, I think it's creamy, but it's not necessarily. It's more of a texture. Like the creaminess isn't just like it tastes like a cream. It's that it's very creamy in the way that the flavors come across your tongue.
No, I agree with that. I wouldn't be able to put one thing or another together on that, but I can tell you that I feel that creaminess really. The one thing that I notice is that usually with that leatheriness usually sticks to the roof of my mouth, but I've got that leatheriness off onto the bottom portion of my cheeks, and that creaminess is sticking to the top roof of my mouth.
Yeah.
So that's something different and unique that I don't get a lot with cigars out there. So I like that. AJ, good to see you, brother. Welcome. Yeah.
It does make it nice the way that it I think everyone has a different experience with it, but like I said, I've got a friend, Dave, over in Arkansas, who, man, he buys these for me to gift to people, and he buys them by the box because he just loves them.
This is really good. This burn too. Look at that burn. And the draw on this like I said, I vibed with this stick early on, and a lot of it I feel was fact that the draw was where I like it. It had that snugness that I like, not too loose, but also not like a milkshake straw. It's just that perfect amount of resistance. And I get that's aesthetics. That's just everybody has their preference on what they like. Right. But the draw on this is where I love it because I've got. I'm getting enough of I'm getting enough of that smoke, and it's just the smoke is fantastic. It's so silky. Yeah, all that smoke is so silky.
Yeah, nice and thick, nice and velvety. I love it.
What's up, Johnny? Good to see you. Yeah, man, that burn. I can't get over that burn. I mean, it's just lay out. You put a level on that burn, and it's just.
Which is pretty impressive if you look at that wrapper, right? Like that's how you know that there's some skill. I mean,
that is here. Let me get up close for the people up there to see. That's how you can tell fantastic construction on this. Is just how even and level this burn is on the cigar. I mean, you can't do any better than that.
No. Yeah, it's definitely a cigar that, if you're not someone who retros frequently, I think when you smoke this, you will start to retro more because you want to it's crazy.
That retro just changed up. It
got a little more
aged up. Yeah. Oh. Ooh. You gotta stop with this shit, all right? You gotta stop. All right. I'm not gonna praise you anymore tonight. I'm just gonna sit here stone faced so you don't know how I feel about the cigar.
Yeah, you will. I'll just watch your face when you next retro.
Yeah, this is delicious, man. I think you really the blending on this is like perfect. And I think that the advantage that you have being a chef there really shows in the blending process on this.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
This is a chef's cigar, and I've had plenty of other cigars that have been worked on by chefs or blended by chefs. And a lot of them are exactly the same, where it's very complex on the cigar. The flavors are all over the place. And I like that in a cigar. But then you have some of them where, no names mentioned, Davidoff. Where I'm like, if these three chefs design this cigar together, I don't want to eat at their restaurants.
Yeah, well, this is my theory on that, and it's one of the other reasons why I say rebel chef, right? One, because chefs are in food and I'm in cigar, whatever. Two, I'm pairing cigars and meals, which isn't really common. But the other is those chefs played it safe to try to get as much of the market, their Davidoff, consumers to buy it and to rebuy it. So they played it safe. I didn't want to do that. I wanted people to know that the chef is cooking up a full meal. This is not a simple thing. There's all, appetizer, entree and dessert are all packed into my cigars. This is the chef's cigar. When you smoke it, you'll understand. You'll know that it's a chef's cigar.
I mean, yes. If I didn't know you were a chef and I smoked this, I would almost assume it was blended by a chef, just because of the complexity of the flavors,
Right.
and the profile.
And I mean, some people actually don't think that I'm an actual chef. They think they're like, oh, it makes sense, a cigar, food, and blah, blah. And then I'm like, no, I'm culinarily trained with the degree, professional of 28 years, still cooking for as a private. Like, it's not a gimmick. If you go far enough back in any of my, or if you look up, I used to go by the Bearded Chef AZ. So if you put that in there, I'll pop up all over the internet as the Bearded Chef. So, it's a legit thing, man. I really obviously love food. You don't go into the business if you don't. And, at a minimum of 4 cigars a day, I love me some tobacco myself.
I love the smell coming off the foot. Oh, it's so good.
The retro, a slow retro at the past the halfway and beyond is crazy. It's crazy what happens in your nose if you go nice and slow. Like, it's a different.
I can't with you, bro. I can't.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you.
I can't. Yeah. God,
yeah.
It's so good. Like, I anticipated this to be, like, good because that Catalia was phenomenal. But this is on a different level.
See, they're so different from each other. That was the whole thing. Like, how was I to know which one you're going to like the most? Like, you still haven't smoked the Dawn, but if you were to be like, the El Lechon, man, easily my favorite, I don't blame you. Like, I've got friends who, like, swear by one of the cigars. That's the one. They've smoked them all. They've tried them all. That's the one that they want every single time, once they become a repeat.
Yeah. I think I'm going to be a repeat customer. Or did I say that out loud? Oh. Yeah. So, when you go out and do cut and lights, do you also do the food pairings as part of the cut and lights, or is that something that you do separately?
So I have some set up for the lounges that are carrying my cigars. For when I get together with people and meet them at a lounge that isn't carrying my cigars, I don't do the food thing at all. For my launch, I had 4 of my really good friends come, and I did bring barbecue and allowed them to pick the cigar, and then we ate and we smoked. It was the first time for 2 of them. They'd never eaten and smoked at the same time. They were very, very surprised. It was interesting to see what flavors they discovered in the cigar or in the food that they hadn't noticed before. But I do have some. I'll be in Texas. We're going to do one of those there. I'm going to head to Georgia, and I'm going to do some there. We're thinking about doing another road trip, and kind of just trying to hit some others. But typically, yeah, I just discussed the cigars. I explain, I like to do the, when they ask me questions and I answer whatever they want to know about the cigars and discuss my thought process and, the future of the company as I see it, things like that. But usually after they smoke those cigars while they're there, they kind of have the same experience that you do, where I think that they're enjoying getting to know me, but then they smoke the cigar and they're like, wait, this guy's not a joke. This is not a gimmick. He's not saying food and cigars to kind of be off the edge and be crazy. They're like, this guy's got a cigar here. And there's enough YouTube videos out there right now where you can go find people giving me the shout out who are 4 guys together, all eating the same meal, all smoking the same cigar, and they're like, wow, there is something about food and cigars. And I know I'm not the first and the only person doing this, but it is definitely the passion part of my project.
I don't know why, but I want I want green chili stew right now. I don't know why. Don't ask me, but for some reason, smoking this, I want green chili stew.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Had,
so, now your goal should be to get some and to smoke that cigar with it and see what happens. I promise you'll find something in the cigar you're not right now and something in the green chili stew you've never tasted before, or at least wasn't as pronounced. It's interesting how it works, man. It's crazy. It's a game changer. If you do it, I want you to tag me in something if you ever do that, even if you don't use my cigar. If you eat and smoke at the same time and discuss it, I want you to tag me because I know you're going to be like, what have I been doing? Why have I not been doing this all along?
All right. All right. I got a goal to see if I can get it done this weekend. I got the kit this weekend. I don't know if I'll be able to make it. Now I got a goal though. If I get a free moment, I know. I think I'll make some green chili stew.
Yep. I can't wait, man. It'll be pretty cool. My cigars are they're rolled in Esteli, Nicaragua, but we do use tobacco from all over Nicaragua, and the wrappers are Ecuadorian Connecticut, Ecuadorian. Or I've got, let's see, Mexican San Andreas, Ecuadorian Connecticut, Ecuadorian Sumatra. We've got the on my Bomba, which you haven't seen or tried yet. Well, you saw the picture. We've got the Candela on there. And you can find my cigars on rebelchefcigars.com. I sell them by the single. I sell the 3-packs, 5-packs. We do 10, 15, and 20 bundles, which they actually get sent to you in custom butcher paper, kind of to go along with the theme. But yeah, they're from brother of mine in Esteli who has like 27, 28 years rolling experience. He's been doing it since he's like 16. His mother was a roller and a blender. And then he's got a very small crew who just grind it out. And a couple of these guys are over 20, like 5 years experience. And the others are like 14 and 17. So like these are all very, very skilled.
Very professional factory.
Yeah, like it's small, but these people they're the masters. Like these people are incredible. When I ask for tweaks, I like to talk to them about the Velato, the Seco, like what regions I'm thinking. So I give them that. I'd like some Ometepe. I've got a cigar coming out in June. That's my anniversary cigar that we used a little more Ometepe in it and things like that, where I'm like, these are the Ligero and these are what I want. And we'll try it. And if, they have suggestions, hey, I think we can achieve your, a little more sweetness if we go this way, or if we use half a leaf. That's kind of where we go back and forth. So I try to give them a starting point, and then, with their years of experience, they give me some ideas. They'll send me exactly what I said, what I wanted, and then they'll give me a little variety of what their suggestions are. Their suggestions are always obviously, on point. Like they always make the tweaks to make it better.
Johnny, in the description, I have a direct link to the website there, so you can just click on that, and that'll take you straight over to the website. So that way you don't have to try. I know you have a hard time spelling, so this way you don't have to worry about misspelling it. I'm here for you, the people, or for Johnny, so he doesn't have to spell.
That's very nice of you. Good word. Team player.
This is good, man. It's so smooth. It's so smooth. But there's so much going on.
Yeah,
I'm having such a hard time sorting everything out of my tongue and around. It's just I just want to keep it there. But the complexity and the depth is just phenomenal on that.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's definitely was the plan. I think that it's definitely a wow factor, which is also something that, how does the cigar come into my my rotation, right? Like in my own humidor, I can see cigars that everyone are raving about. I smoke it, and it just doesn't wow me. Like it literally doesn't have, something that makes it really stand out. I wanted to create something that when people smoked it, they were going to be like, man, like this does not let me down. I wanted a cigar. I wanted a great experience. I wanted an easy draw, just enough tension that it's thick smoke. I think most people want that in their cigar. Oh, Christina, what up? Yeah, that's awesome. That is so awesome.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, yeah. What's up, Anthony? Good to see you.
We could go Rebel Chef. Let's see. What is it? It's Rebel. I'll have to look it up. Dang it. It's I can't remember. I do have one. Man, I'm sorry that I did have a code that I think was still active. I'm not even sure if it actually is. But if you reached out to me, Juan, I'll see what I can do for you guys, or anyone here that wants to give them a try. I could give you a code for a 10%, get you guys on the hook.
No, you're definitely a plug, because they're gonna get you in cheap, and then he's gonna reel you in, and then you're gonna want more and more and more.
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
I can already tell you, I want more.
It's really cool. It's really cool how many times I get orders, and I you know what I mean, from my shipping, I already have their addresses saved. I'm like, woohoo, they're back. Like it's a great feeling. And then to see the post, man, when someone posts a picture of the cigar you've worked on, and you see them just pop up on social media, that is a feeling that is impossible to describe, man. It's like you're nervous when you send out everyone. It's like sending your kid to kindergarten and hoping that the teacher's nice, and then when they reach out and do a post and they comment or they show you a nub, man, that's unreal.
Yeah, there's a lot here that's going on. There's a lot. And again, now we've gone back to as a getting ready to get into this final third. Now we're back again to where my mouth is watery, but the smoke is dry again.
Yes.
Johnny. Yeah, Johnny, you know what? That's more than I'm worth. If it was up to me, I'd say you get nothing and you like it. But, it's not up to me.
I appreciate you guys tuning in and commenting. It's really great of you guys to take time out of your day to watch and learn a little bit. Definitely very grateful for the support that people have shown my little brand. And, once people start smoking them, they usually share and tell other people or give some away. I've been really blessed, man. I mean, we've only been not even quite a year yet, and it's crazy how quickly the word's getting out.
I'm loving it. I at this point, I like all the aspects. I love the aromatics on the cigar. I love the taste on the profile. I love the taste on the mouth. And I love the retro. All those aspects are, it produces this complete cigar. Are you in any ATL lounges?
I'm not in ATL. I am in Georgia in Smoke Kings, but they aren't. It's not ATL. But if you know anybody, I would be more than happy to send them some information and some samples. I mean, just gives me another reason eventually to come through ATL, which I love ATL, man. So any additional excuse to go, I'm on.
What's up, Michelle, my work wife? How are you? Oh, there you go. He knows Mike.
Yeah, that's great, man. They've been just incredible. We nearly sold out completely when they ordered in like 4 days. They were down to like less than half. It was pretty cool. And They had some pretty heavy hitters come through and smoke and taking pictures and sharing. It was really great. There's some amazing people there. Yeah.
Oof.
It's like when like you can tell that people like the food because everyone's talking and then the food comes, and when it goes silent and all you can hear is the people's silverware clinking on the plates. That's what happens with the cigar, right? Like the talking stops, your brain just starts trying to process what you're smoking.
I'm trying to again. I'm still trying to sort everything out in the palate, and it comes back to the depth and the complexity of this cigar, that there's so much going on that I find myself, I find that I'm sorting out the flavors that are predominant on there and just letting it sit, and I'm not really doing much with the rest of it. And I mean, I know I shouldn't do that, but I'm enjoying everything about that cigar right now. Anthony lives about 10 minutes away.
That's great. Yeah, I think I've got a trip planned. I mean, the dates aren't set, but I've got to try to figure out how. Hopefully by summer, a little. In my opinion, I honestly. So I'm not a fan of the guy in his shows very much. I've gone to restaurants where he's recommended stuff, and I really don't usually like his recommendations, and I'm not a huge fan of the guy himself. But which made me wait on that cigar forever. I waited. I was like, I just didn't want to smoke it. But then I did, and I'm not gonna lie, man. I think the Knuckle Sandwich is a great cigar. I love them. I mean, I don't want to. I didn't want to. I wanted so bad to be like, yeah, this cigar it's okay, but it's not great. But I smoked them reasonably frequently, all things considered. So yeah, I think he did a great job with his team, however they did that. I love them. They're great cigars. I don't think that my cigars are anything alike. I don't think anything I've done anything like cigars at all.
Because your Maduro with the San Andreas and that Knuckle Sandwich Maduro, they're miles.
Yeah, they're not. No. If you tried to do a blind, although a lot of them are the soft box. If you tried to do like a blind, like take the bands off and hand them and go, which one's a Knuckle Sandwich? You're not gonna get it wrong. You know what I mean? Like, they're not the same. It's named a Knuckle Sandwich for a reason, and it does. It's got a good pow to it, which is why I like it.
Yeah, it's a strong cigar. However, if we're talking about that, man, you take us to Flavor Town with your cigars. All right?
Right.
Right. You're the mayor of Cigar Flavor Town. He's just a visitor.
That's too kind. But, I mean, that was the idea, is I wanted mine to be a meal. Like, I wanted people to want to try eating with it. I wanted them all to be approachable. I wanted them to be very, very complex with transitions and tons of different flavors. And I love it because some people find, different things in the cigars, right? Like, you're going to smoke this and find different notes than I have, which is what I want it to be. I want it to be a whole different experience for you than it is for me.
Oh, yeah. Good. Lou, yes, this was drool bucket worthy. Four puffs in. 4 puffs in. This was drool bucket. Lou, yeah, this is a good stick.
Yeah, I definitely believe that if anyone, purchases the cigars, they will feel like they got their money's worth and more. They will want to get more. They're going to be like, you know what? This really is a very, very good cigar. There's no gimmick. Like, that's the thing that I love, is I think people expect it to be gimmicky and then be kind of like a Charter Oak. You know what I mean? And it's not. Like, It's not a charter
Oh
oak.
no. But I think okay, so off of the Catalia and off of this here, the where AJ is known as the spice and pepper king of out there on the Nicaraguan tobacco. On that, I think you compare reasonably. However, you're not blowing away people's palate with spice and with spice and pepper. You're not doing that. You're integrating that in. Whereas some AJ sticks, you can tell right off of the first puff that this is a pepper bomb.
Yeah.
And that first retro, you just feel your septum melt. Off of the first retro on that. Not yours. You've added in these complexities, so you're not blowing out somebody's palate off of the first few puffs. That's the difference between two. And trust me, I love pepper. I love pepper bomb sticks, but it kind of ruins your palate for the rest of the day if you're going to smoke anything else.
Yeah, and I mean, and I do too. Like usually my favorite cigars have always been those ones that are like black as night, thick as tar. That the last third of the cigar is like bitter and super strong, and it's like just your whole entire mouth is like saturated, your nose is on fire. Like, I love that cigar, and that was going to be the first cigar I made, but then I thought, that's not an everyday cigar, that's not an every person cigar, and that's not a chef cigar. That's just someone who wants a really strong kick in the ass. Well, I didn't want to do that. I was like, I want people to come back and make it memorable, because there's tons of spice bombs out there. So what was going to set me apart was going to be complexity.
Yeah, I agree. And I recently smoked a demo blend for another brand, and I anticipated that out of the cigar because this cigar was so black and dark. And this cigar was this was a Maduro cigar all the way across. It just everything about it. It was so black and dark. The binder was so black and dark. The fillers were dark. And I go, oh man, this may have something to it. But it was about a straight medium bodied, straight across everything, strength, body, and it was so creamy and so sweet on that cigar. I mean, my mind was, I'm like, no way. And I'm like, I go, I need more of those. You gotta send me more of those. I don't care it's a test blend. I need more of those.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, you put that out, that's cigar of the year right there. But I think you've got a very, very, very close second with this one right here.
Love it. Yeah, and I agree with you, Lou. They usually aren't. It's usually pretty much what they are. They're just spice bomb all the way.
And even if there is complexity to it, you've shot your palate. Just trying to just by the sheer amount of spice that's going through there. And whether that vitamin N is heavy in that or not, you're shot. So already you're adding a shot palate in, and then you stand up and you fall over.
Yeah.
On top of it, there's not enough water and unsalted crackers I can drink and eat that can clear my palate out after smoking one of those. It's just like, I'm done for the day. Done.
Yeah.
Anything else I smoke is just going to be there.
Yeah. It's just it's an experience after that. You know what I mean? You're not really tasting more of the next cigar. It's pretty much just rubbing across your tongue.
Yeah, And I do enjoy a good pepper bomb stick, but I enjoy those pepper bomb sticks that add dynamics to it, where it's there, and although it is the dominant flavor that you're getting, it's that the dynamics of everything else are also incorporated into the cigar. So if it's going to be a heavy pepper stick, I would prefer it to be on the retro than on the tongue.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of times the ones that are more complex, it's usually in the first 2/3 that all of that happens. Usually by the time you get to the end of any pepper bomb, it pretty much just takes over in the end with strength. And that's where all the the power and like the real kick comes in that final third, which I always try to hope that it stays smooth. It does some final transitions, maybe some of the other, some of the components stay there in the end, but it just doesn't become saturated. And I think part of that's has to do with the draw and not, the amount of smoke that's going to sit in the cap of your cigar and make it bitter. But I think that happens more with spice bombs, and I wanted to avoid that, especially with my Maduro.
I dig this. I dig this a lot. It's just I love the complexity on the cigar, and I know I got to re-smoke this and smoke it properly, where I'm sorting out everything and just not letting those dominant flavors sit where they're at. I know, but I mean, even though I know I'm not smoking correctly on it, I thoroughly enjoy this cigar.
Great. Happy to hear it, man. Very happy to hear it.
See, I like to start peppery, then transition into chocolatey coca middle, then and pepper on the end. Yeah, I do. I like the peppery to start, but what I really like is when it ends with like that fresh cracked black pepper taste. That's where that right there. I mean, you've got me. You've sold me on that.
I really like when there is some very strong bitter baker's chocolate with the pepper. Like that's something that I like, or at least a really like a black, like a latte in the end that's coating your tongue while you've got pepper in the nose. I like one of those two on my tongue while the pepper's in the nose in the end of my pepper bombs. That's what I like. I like to feel like I just drank some black tar coffee and, snorted a line of cracked pepper. That's what I like.
I do. Well, I'll say this about the Catalia. There are certain points in this Catalia where on that retro, it feels like you are snorting lines of cinnamon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Definitely.
yeah. I mean, it comes across super strong, and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the thing is, it hits you right up front, and then it gets very sweet towards the end. So you really get that cinnamon right at the start of that retro, about right here, and your cavity is just burning, but then it's super sweet as it ends, coming out. That that's where that was one of those things I loved about smoking that stick was the retro was fantastic. The buttery notes, the buttery nutty notes were very good in the cigar. It was nice. Like I said, it had components of like the candied nuts. Out there like the holiday candied nuts.
Yeah, the walnuts. Yeah.
Yeah, that toasted nuttiness with the sweetness, the sugar, the caramel, the cinnamon. That's really the big dynamic I think on that cigar. And somebody asked me about that not too long ago, and that's what I really kind of compared. I go, it's like the holiday nuts, toasted buttery nuttiness with cinnamon, sugar, caramel. Really are what you get when you smoke that Catalia.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. That's one of the things that makes that a special one. That's a great one to enjoy with a coffee. You know what I mean? It's like one of those ones, or if you had like a cinnamon roll or French toast, man, that thing's crazy. Yeah. But then you got to have like a good sausage with it. If you do French toast and a good sausage.
Yeah, you got to have that heavy, fatty sausage.
Yeah, definitely.
That fatty component, I think, is really that's the money on that.
It is, because the mouthfeel with the cigars mouthfeel, like they, you know what I mean? They're like countering each other and crossing each other out. It's awesome. That's a fun one.
Yeah. Thank you, Anthony. Yes, you're right. Yeah, I agree on it. I also felt that, with that Catalia, going with a really heavy, creamy hot chocolate, because I'm not a coffee guy, would also sit very well with that as a drink of choice.
Oh
Just
yeah.
because that end of that cigar really put in like that Mexican hot chocolate feel with the
Yep.
with the coca, with the cinnamon and nutmeg. Going with a really creamy, like a creamy Italian hot chocolate made with like that really heavy whipping cream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, it would go so good with that stick.
Yeah.
If it wasn't so hot out, that would be something to try. To do that.
Yeah. Not in this heat. No, you need something with some ice, a little chill on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
I dig this. And again, that burn is almost perfect. No structural problems with this cigar. Draw perfect, just like it was with the Catalia. And again, for those of you that didn't see the review on the Catalia, Brandy and I did for Raw Cigar Reviews last month. I did post the link down in the description, so you can go check that out and watch, and you can get our firsthand take of what we thought about the Catalia, which it was drool bucket worthy stick. Very good. Both Brandy and I really enjoyed the cigar. And of course, she had to mix up her drink pairing because her first pairing did not go well with it.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate you coming by and hanging out for a little bit, man.
Yep. It's a fun cigar, right? Like the idea behind them also, or cigars are that experience. And if you're gonna give someone something to try for their first and they're kind of new, I think the cigar, it just hits on all cylinders, man. It's beautiful, it's fun, you want to talk about it, you enjoy smoking it because it's surprising you. I mean, it's a winner, man. We worked hard and I think we won.
Now that you got that anniversary cigar coming out that you've worked on, you've also got other things you're working on for later on in the year or next year already
Yep.
in the works.
Oh yeah. So the Bomba de Cereza it's going to come out mid-June. I did a pre-release early in January, sold out in 2 days, less than 2 days. So we've got those. Those have been resting for months and months. Those I want. It's my tribute to the military, the police, firefighters. Those that sacrificed for us. So that one will be released on around June 14th or 15th on the website, so that they will be ready for people to rest and smoke on the 4th of July. And then the anniversary cigar will come out around June 1st, so that they can smoke along with our live event that I believe is on Friday the 14th. We'll do a live event. It's going to be like 8 or 10 people. I got a bunch of people coming in from out of state that are all going to be a part of the live event. Smoke the brand new cigar. It's called the Maestro Místico. And that'll be coming out. That's my anniversary cigar. And then we're already in the process of starting a new line that will come out in 2025. So we're doing all the stuff we can. Going to do something a little different, a little unique with that line. It's going to be something that you don't see out in humidors right now. It's a little unique setup we've got going, and I'm real excited about what we're doing with that too.
You now knowing where you stand personally within, the goals that you set for the brand, are you seeing in 2025 working your way towards like the trade shows to try and garner a bit more exposure, or are you looking more 2026?
I think I'll start looking next year at a smaller show, right? Not like a PC or anything that big. That's 2026, 2027. In the next year, if not, the end of this year, next year, I'm pretty sure we're going to take like a huge road trip, like load up an RV with 5,000 cigars and drive from here to Florida, and then, a different route back through a little bit, a little higher, a little more north, but we'll travel through the South, then head back up, through the mid states, back down into Arizona. So I think I'm going to probably take that, because I think that in person and people smoking the cigars with me in person, I think is a better experience. I think it's more memorable than a trade show that's just inundated with all these huge companies. So I might try a smaller one, but it really just depends on, us planning this trip and seeing how that works out. Cause that's kind of my big goal. And, we're going to take a trip down to Nicaragua here pretty soon again. And, pretty soon this year and check that out. And, so we got a couple of little things, but that's not a big one for me. I've heard a lot of podcasts where those aren't necessarily money makers. They cost more than you get out of it. So I have to be in a position where I'm ready to just basically hand out a bunch of free stuff and potentially not get a return on my investment.
PCA is like that, where you really are going to, it's definitely going to cost you far more than what you'll probably do sales wise to go in. But that exposure is really invaluable, to get out there, because then people remember you from the next year out there. Whereas like a trade show like TPE, smaller scale out there, where you've got quite a few quite a few and more smaller brands out there than you do with the bigger brands. It's more geared towards the smaller brand size out there, and your cost is significantly less. Plus, being in Arizona, you don't have that, you save on a ton of that expense because you can just drive to Vegas fairly easy.
Right. So that's likely how we'll introduce ourselves to them, as by a TPE, I would imagine. But I'm always trying to just chat with people on different social media platforms, trying to get like that's, I saw that Henry was talking to you, so I reached out to you, and I try to kind of get my feet in with other people that way. That's kind of my current technique. You know what I mean? It's easier.
There's good people out there. I like Henry a lot.
Yeah. Oh, he's great. Guy's awesome. Fun to hang out with too.
He's like, "Can I interview you?" And I was like, "What? Oh, okay. I guess." I'm on a different level. I'm not used to the one being interviewed.
Well, I'm down to that. As you can see, it's still holding together. It's still razor sharp. And I'm down to the almost burning my mustache length.
I'm a little behind you on this, but you did start a little before me. So
yeah. It was getting too hard to wait.
I've been trying my best not to fast smoke this because it's so good, and I really want to fast smoke it, but
yeah, it's hard not to. They go pretty fast as it is. The Don Cecilio, I feel like, just vanishes in your hand. Like, you look down and you're all, I can't believe that it's only been 45 minutes and I've gone through a Toro.
It just keeps this thing it really just keeps getting better as the deeper I've gotten into the stick. Although I do have to say I am rather shocked that the dry smoke has stayed once I got into that final third. It hasn't, that smoke didn't change one bit. Yeah. But I like that dry, smoky component to the cigar. Because it really fits well with how it's finishing. The massive amount of sweetness coming through in this final third is disturbingly delicious. Yeah. I was really expecting that the cigar was going to get a little tarry on me, but it has not. It's really stayed like perfect. It's really stayed perfect throughout. It's good. The pliability is still great on it. Look, it's not even soft. Like it's held phenomenal on it. I just little bit of tarriness, but not like a ton, and I expected far more. So, this whole cigar surprised me from the start.
That's something that was a concern with all the cigars, right? Is because I didn't want people to be dropping them when they hit the final third, or a little bit into the final third, because it was getting tarry and bitter. So that was definitely a challenge, was to keep the smoothness. And for this one, the El Lechon, I wanted it to be savory, but then have that sweet. And the fact that we were able to keep the sweetness where you think the bitterness would come in makes it a very special experience.
It does. Then the bitteriness I get out of this cigar isn't the bad bitter. It's that cocoa bitter. Which
Yep.
is good bitter. Good bitter. I say that to people, and a lot of people go, "Oh, isn't bitter bad?" I go, you've got bad bitter, which you don't like that taste on your tongue, and you got that good bitter, like a coffee bean bitter, or like a cocoa.
Right.
That good bitter.
Right.
And I'm not a fan of coffee, but I do like the taste of coffee and coffee bean on in a cigar. But I can't drink coffee.
No.
It smells fantastic, tastes like shit.
I like a strong black bitter coffee myself. That's the kind of coffee I drink. I don't like cream or sugar so much. I've tried, many of the sweet ones, but I'm not a fan.
Oh no. Yeah, I can't do it. I'm like when I'm working in a McDonald's, fixing the equipment, and somebody orders they order a coffee with 22 creamers and 20 sugars in it. I'm just like, yeah, that's how I could drink a coffee, because I couldn't do it. And I get why people do it.
It's coffee flavored, like it's a melted milkshake with coffee flavor at that point.
Yeah, pretty much. Hey, you got any Swiss Miss packets you can toss in there too?
Yeah, it's a couple marshmallows on top.
Yeah, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle the rest. Yeah, I'm one of those weird people. I say that, and people start going, "How do you not like it?" I'm like, I just don't like the taste of coffee. It just
well, it is what it is.
Just not a fan of coffee.
Tight little guy.
Ooh. Yeah, this is phenomenal. I recommend everybody go check out the Rebel Chef Cigar webpage if you want more information about the cigars. He's got a really good write-up on all the cigars on there. Really, I mean, it's a fantastic write-up. It's really in depth on there. So really, go check out the website. I'm a stickler for easy websites that are also full of information, and it's a very easy to navigate website with a ton of information on it. So go check it out, and you can buy directly off the website. The link to Rebel Chef Cigars is down in the description, so you can just click on it. I made it easy. And the link to everything Jayson and Rebel Chef is also down in the description, so I made it easy for you guys to find. And unless you're watching on LinkedIn, then you'll have to figure out which link takes you where, because I honestly don't know. They do things differently over there.
I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing.
Anything you would like to promote with before we end out the show tonight?
No, I would just encourage everyone to give it a try. I promise you it'll be more than worth the money you spend. It'll be an experience that is very surprising, very unique, and just it'll be a fun and delicious cigar, and one I'm pretty sure you will want to stock your humidor with, so that you can pop one out when you want that guaranteed experience. You want a cigar you can count on. We worked really hard to create something that you can count on every single time you grab any of the three of our current line. And if you keep your eyes out and look around for reviews on the Bomba, it's getting the same type of reviews. It's a delicious, very different cigar. So we've done the same with the complexity and the same with the transitions in a completely different cigar. And I'm anxious for everyone to try that one. But if you have any questions, you can DM me on all the different social media things I'm on, or, whatever you guys have that you want to ask, or even if it's food pairings and things like that, I'm always open to talk and share.
That is awesome. Man, this was a great cigar. Great conversation. I really appreciate you coming back. Love to have you back on again. Would love to get you back on the Tuesday show again because everybody likes watching me drool live on Instagram. So
I'm always game.
on that, next Monday night, we got the crew from the Rat Patch on. If you're not familiar with the Rat Patch, it's a cigar patch. So if your cigar cracks or breaks or you cut your cigar in half, why, I don't know, you can patch it back together and it won't leave any holes, won't leave any aftertaste or flavor, different flavors in the cigar. It's perfect for the setup. They designed it to fix blunts because they're cannabis people, but realize that it has a better usage in cigars. So we will talk to the people from Rat Patch next Monday night. And yeah, that's it for this week, guys. I appreciate it. Oh, Thursday night on my IG Live, the legend Boston Jimmy joins me out there. He's got a brand new cigar game show out on his YouTube channel, YouTube and Facebook channel. And come join. We're going to learn all about his brand new cigar game show, which seems kind of fun. So definitely check that out. That will be done Thursday night. So happy to have the legend on. I've watched him for years and years and years, and he's one of those guys that inspired me to kind of do what I do on the media side of things. So getting to talk with him is going to be a great time. So tune into that. That'll be a fun show too. So, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, and we will see you later on. So take care. Be safe out there. Don't do anything Jayson and I wouldn't do because we're sweet and innocent boys. And we'll see y'all later. Everybody, peace.